Have you ever felt like love was a prize you had to win? That being loved meant becoming someone you weren't? Maybe you were the good child, the quiet one, the overachiever, or maybe you became invisible, just to stay safe, just to belong. You learned early that love was not given, it was earned, with obedience, with silence, with sacrifice. There was no space for your anger, your sadness, your chaos. Only the version of you they approved of was allowed to exist. That's when it started. The fracture between who you are and who you had to be. Being loved felt conditional, and so you began to perform. You smiled when you were broken. You helped others so they would need you. You shrunk yourself to fit into rooms where your real self would be too loud, too much. You betrayed your own needs, repeatedly, until you forgot what they even were. You believed that if you were lovable enough, useful enough, perfect enough, they wouldn't leave. This belief, it didn't come from nowhere. It came from caregivers who only showed affection when you behaved, when you pleased, when you were easy to handle. It came from a home where love had rules, and if you broke them, even by existing fully, love was taken away. You internalized this. You wore it like a second skin. You carried it into your friendships, your romantic relationships, your work. You became the version of yourself that people wanted. You listened more than you spoke. You gave more than you took. You stayed when you should have left. Because a voice inside you whispered, "If I don't do this, I won't be loved." This is not your fault. This is what happens when love becomes conditional. When love is offered as a reward, not a right. Carl Jung called this the creation of the persona, the mask we wear to be accepted. But behind the persona lives the self, the one you buried, the one who is still waiting. You may feel exhausted, burned out, like no matter how hard you try, you're never truly seen. That's because you're living a double life. There's the you that shows up, the polished version, the good one. And then there's the you behind the scenes, angry, lonely, desperate to be loved without performance. You're not alone. Many of us grew up like this. John Bradshaw spoke of this as the origin of our internal shame, because when love is tied to behavior, to image, to pleasing, the real self starts to feel like a problem. You begin to believe that who you are is not enough. So you split into who you are and who you think you must be. But here's the truth. Love that must be earned is not love. And the longer you chase conditional love, the further you drift from yourself. You are not unlovable. You were simply loved conditionally. That is not your shame to carry. The healing begins when you dare to stop performing, when you say no, when you express your anger, when you disappoint someone and choose not to apologize for existing. That's when the mask begins to crack and the self begins to breathe. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Carl Jung. What happens when you stop chasing their love? We will go deeper in the next part. There's a silence that follows when you stop chasing love. Not peace, not yet, but a quiet discomfort, like standing still after running for so long. You begin to notice the emptiness you tried to fill with people, with attention, with being needed. You feel the absence of noise, the absence of validation, and something inside you trembles, because without the chase, who are you? This is where the unraveling begins. The moment you stop proving your worth, the world gets uncomfortable. People who were used to your compliance start questioning you, challenging you, blaming you. You're no longer the easy one, the helpful one, the always available one. You begin to disappoint people, and it hurts, because for so long, being needed was your identity.
Do you ever feel like someone finally sees the part of you you've always hidden? Here, you don't have to hide anymore. You're safe now. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so we can keep walking this path together. Thank you.
But the cost of that identity was high. It cost you your boundaries, your rest, your voice. And now, as you step away from the performance, guilt shows up like a shadow. Maybe I'm selfish, you think. But you're not selfish. You're healing. There's a difference between being kind and being self-abandoning. There's a difference between love and appeasement. You were trained to confuse the two, and now you're beginning to see. As the old patterns surface, you'll feel the pull to go back, to apologize when you've done nothing wrong, to explain yourself, to prove you're still worthy. Don't. Stand still. Let the silence grow. Let the discomfort teach you something. Carl Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But to become yourself, you must first lose everything you were told to be. This is not just healing. This is rebirth. You will lose people, but you will find yourself. You will feel lost, but you will finally be free. Freedom is quiet. At first, then it roars. Let yourself disappoint those who only loved your mask. Let yourself rest. Let yourself be misunderstood, because the ones who truly love you won't need a performance. They'll want your truth, even when it's messy, even when it's loud. Especially then, this is the breaking point. But it's also the beginning. When you stop chasing conditional love, you start remembering what love really is. And in the remembering, you begin to return to yourself. Next, we'll talk about the pain of letting go of people who only loved the version of you that served them. Letting go is not elegant. It's not a clean break. It's not a gentle drift apart. It's screaming in silence. It's grieving someone who is still alive. It's realizing they never truly saw you, only the mirror you held up for them. You don't let go when you're ready. You let go when holding on becomes too heavy. And even then, you doubt it, because walking away from conditional love means walking into loneliness. And that is a terrifying freedom. You will question everything. Did I expect too much? Was I too intense? Too emotional? They'll tell you you're ungrateful, dramatic, sensitive. But what they really mean is you stopped playing the role. You stopped making them feel comfortable. You stopped protecting their illusion, and so they leave. Or they punish. Not because you hurt them, but because you stopped hiding your hurt. You see, when you outgrow a relationship built on performance, your truth becomes confrontation. Your boundaries become betrayal. Your self-respect becomes rejection. They say you changed, and they're right, you did. You started telling the truth. You stopped apologizing for your needs. You stopped shrinking. You started loving yourself. And in doing so, you broke the contract, the unspoken agreement that you'd always abandon yourself for their comfort. This breaking hurts. You will miss the version of you who was loved, even if that love came at a cost. But nostalgia is not proof of alignment. Missing someone doesn't mean they were right for you. It means you're human. Carl Jung spoke of the shadow, the parts we suppress, deny, hide. Often those who couldn't love us as we are. They were only loving the mask, never the shadow. But healing is integration. It's saying, this is me, even the parts you couldn't hold, especially those parts. You will cry, you will rage, you will ache, but you will also rise. Because every tear is a goodbye to the role you no longer need. And every silence is a space where the real you can speak. Letting go is not weakness. It is choosing reality over illusion. It is choosing truth over performance. It is choosing you. And in the choosing, you reclaim the parts they taught you to fear. In the next part, we'll explore what it means to meet yourself again, without needing to be loved for it. There's a strange ache that appears when you sit with yourself for too long. No distractions, no one to impress, no love to earn, just silence. And in that silence, you meet someone unexpected, the version of you that was left behind. Not the performer, not the achiever, not the pleaser, but the one who existed before the mask. And they look at you with eyes full of questions. Why did you abandon me? This meeting is not gentle, but it is necessary. Because healing isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before you had to become someone else. To meet yourself again, you must walk back through everything that made you forget. The rooms where you were too much, the moments where your truth was met with punishment, the silent agreements that shaped your identity. Don't be loud. Don't need too much. Don't cry. You didn't learn to abandon yourself because you were broken. You did it to survive. And now you're unlearning survival. That's the hardest part. Because the patterns you want to break are the same ones that kept you safe. But safety is not the same as wholeness, and survival is not the same as living. So you begin to rebuild trust with yourself. Tiny moments. You say no, even when your voice shakes. You rest, even when guilt screams. You speak the truth, even when you fear rejection. These are not small victories. These are revolutions. Because every time you choose yourself, you send a message to the abandoned parts. I see you now. I'm coming back for you. John Bradshaw called this the return to the inner child. The child who was sensitive, emotional, alive, the one who felt everything. That child didn't need to be fixed. They needed to be loved, unconditionally. So you learn to become the parent you never had. You hold space for your grief. You validate your anger. You protect your joy. And you stop demanding that you be perfect to deserve peace. Carl Jung spoke of individuation, the process of becoming whole. Not perfect, whole. That means holding your light and your shadow in the same breath. That means making peace with contradiction. You are kind and angry. You are gentle and fierce. You are healing and still hurting. This is not confusion. This is complexity. This is being human. And the more you honor your wholeness, the less you need to be loved for only parts. You no longer need to be digestible. You no longer need to shrink to be accepted, because the love you're building now, it starts from within. It's slow, it's quiet, but it's real. You are not the version they made you become. You are not the silence you were taught to keep. You are not the approval you were trained to chase. You are the one who remained, the one who felt the pain, the one who dared to return. And that version of you, the real one, is not waiting to be fixed. They're waiting to be held, to be chosen by you. This is not the end of healing. It's the beginning of becoming. And in the next part, we'll explore what it means to truly love, from a place that is whole, not wounded. To love again after healing is not about finding the perfect person. It's about no longer needing to be perfect to be loved. It's about showing up as you are, without the mask, without the performance, without the fear of being too much. You no longer offer yourself like a bargain. If I stay quiet, will you love me? If I'm useful, will you choose me? You simply offer yourself, whole, honest, human. And in that vulnerability, you reclaim something sacred. Your right to be loved without conditions. This kind of love feels unfamiliar at first. You will want to run, to hide, to sabotage, because it feels unsafe to be seen when you were taught that being seen leads to pain. But this love, real love, does not ask you to be small. It doesn't reward your compliance. It doesn't shrink your truth. It meets you in your fullness. Not just the part that smiles, but the part that cries. Not just the part that gives, but the part that asks. Not just the part that succeeds, but the part that struggles. And when this love arrives, it will test everything you thought you knew. Because for so long, you believed love meant earning, proving, pleasing. Now it simply means being. To love from a healed place doesn't mean you're never triggered. It means you know how to hold your triggers without making them someone else's prison. It means you know when to walk away, not to punish, but to protect. It means you speak even when your voice trembles. And you listen, even when your heart is afraid. Carl Jung said that the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. And so it is. Love becomes alchemy. It burns away what is false. It purifies what was hidden. It does not fix you. It mirrors you. And that mirror will show you where you still ache, where you still fear, where you still pretend. But now, you meet those reflections with compassion. Because you know, pain does not disqualify you from love. It deepens your capacity for it. To love without condition is not a gift someone gives you. It is a truth you live into. It is how you choose, not from emptiness, but from fullness. Not to be saved, but to share. You are no longer a seeker of love. You are the source. You no longer wait to be chosen. You choose. And in this choosing, you break every chain that once told you love must be earned. It never had to be. You were always enough. You are still enough. You will always be enough. Now that you've walked this entire path, we return to where we began. But you are no longer the same. You are no longer the performer. You are no longer the abandoned. You are the one who came home to yourself. You are the one who stayed.